Sorry if this is too dark. I'll try to fix it later. But anyway, still, it's 3 a.m. And I generally don't put on YouTube at this hour or anytime when I first wake up because it gets me too heated, too riled up. And also I'm being quiet because my daughter, she's 15, she's sleeping in the other room. She has school today, so I don't want her to be disturbed. Anyhow, I made the mistake of clicking on something here, and I knew I'd get heated right away. But anyway, Thomas Halbert is driving me crazy, okay? I realize he's a kid, he's gonna make mistakes, but this kid I saw is trouble a long time ago when I first started watching YouTube at the beginning of the summer, and I'm watching all the beauty channels and the beauty drama. At that point in time, I really discounted him, pretty quickly. I knew he had followers, a bunch of followers, totally fine. People can do what they want to do. But for me, I saw right through him. He was, at that point in time, already talking smack about everybody because he didn't feel like he was getting enough attention. He was always boo-hooing about everybody else getting the attention and him not getting it. So now he pops out of the woodwork and goes to Jeffree Star's house, tricks him, in my opinion, where he could get Jeffree to admit that they were in the same room together at Jeffree's house. And then Thomas Halbert came up with the scenario of what he said in his video happened. My feeling about this, and also with Jeffree's hairdresser, when things are said either in person or through texting, that is private conversation between two people, and that should remain that way. If those two people are having that conversation as friends, so-called friends at the time, one person should not use that information that they heard or their texts and share it with the world. If Jeffree said any of that stuff, I don't think that he did, but if he did, that was a private conversation between two people. He's not walking around the streets saying the N-word to random people. He's not out there causing trouble. He thought he was having a private conversation with a friend. You say things to friends in private that you would not say in a public arena. So in this case, Thomas Halbert really screwed himself over, in my opinion, by coming on this video, just ranting on and on about this person. And he knew that we would know who he talked about. He knew he would get sued if he said that person's name. I think that kid needs a lot of growing up to do. I'm not going to say he's a piece of shit or any of that stuff, because he is a young kid, but he was given money. He's a good artist, good makeup artist, but so are a lot of other people. And he was given a break somewhere along the way where he got a lot of subscribers and a lot of freaking money at a young age, and people feel entitled when that happens to them. I am not a fan of Thomas Halbert, and I do like Jeffree Star. I don't think I would have liked him prior to him coming out as to being a better person. He grew up. When he was these kids' ages, he was, mouthy and said the things I'm sure he didn't want to say. He lived in the streets of LA. I'm only excusing it because he's not in that situation anymore. But I think he's actually defending himself more than he needs to. And maybe you don't feel that way, but I feel that he's taking the higher road on this. And then with Peter Monn, oh my gosh, I started a video about him before Betty Page was going to do the video. I started because I was watching Joy Sparkle BS, which I only found because he was talking about her all the time. This was in the summer, and I would have never known about her had it not been for him. So I started watching him. Whenever somebody in their video starts bad mouthing another person, I don't immediately agree or am sucked into what they say. I go and listen to that person and their side of the story and listen to both sides and then weigh it out, see who has more to gain by saying bad things to the other person. And so I started watching her. I watched him as well, back and forth. There is a lot to say that needs its own video in regards to Peter Monn. He's 46 years old. We're in the same age group. Still, I think I have a little better insight into him than a lot of other YouTubers that seem to be really young, like 30 and younger. He led me to watching a few other people only because he was bagging on them. And I wanted to, I was new onto YouTube. I wanted to figure out what these people were saying that was so bad, because at the beginning, Peter seemed like, a flamboyant, eccentric, older man. And that's just how I knew him at the time. I didn't know anything else about him except for that he seemed entertaining. So that's why I started watching him. And then as time went on, I started to understand why people were having problems with him. And then as time went further on, I started to get upset at the things that he was saying and his whole demeanor. And so then I went back and watched videos from 2 years ago, which were horrible because it was all just clickbait. He didn't get to the point until the last 30 seconds, maybe 1 minute at the end of the video. And let me tell you this, though he's crying now and saying, I never put myself up on a pedestal. I don't know who put me up there or why I was put up there. I'm just a human, blah, 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 okay? This is what I have to say to you, Peter. And this I will get into more in my separate video, but just as an ending to this one. When you act like you are better than other people, meaning that you talk down to how other people are doing their channel, the things that they're saying, how they're handling their own business on their channel, and you're giving them advice, remain teachable. I wouldn't do things this way. I would do things that way. I wouldn't watch this person because they're boring. Well, guess what, Peter? You are so boring. And he has advice. He has advice throughout his whole channel about how he would do things better and how they were wrong. You put yourself on a pedestal when you talk that way. And so people start to think, oh, he's older, he's more experienced, maybe he knows more. Then when you get caught doing and saying the same things or worse than the people that you are bashing for what they have done or are doing, then that's bringing you down to a level where you started at, and then all of a sudden you're crying the blues and saying, I never said I was perfect. Well, in a sense, yes, you did. When you feel like you don't live in a glass house and you could throw stones at other people's glass houses, then you are saying to people, I know better. And I know how to be a better person. I know how they should be a better person. They're doing it wrong. I'm doing it right. And he's completely passive aggressive. It'll say, well, I'm just telling you right now that I think this person is doing the wrong thing because this is how I would do it. And I really don't care about this person. It's just really not that deep. When I do a video, unlike Peter Monn, I will talk for perhaps 2 hours. You need to put in at least 2 hours, maybe a full day of video footage on your camera or your iPhone, which is how I've been doing it. And then you need to go back and then you need to edit it down. So that means you have to watch that video over and over and over again. And you take out things in the first run, and then you watch it through again, and then you take things out and you watch it again. And editing is really hard. Nobody that has 4, 5, 6 channels, whatever Peter has at this point, can put in all of that work and get videos out to every single channel if they're putting out quality material and they're editing. When I'm watching his videos, it could be background noise. You could do your bills, you could clean the house, you could do your hair, whatever. But if you actually sit down and try to watch his content, you really aren't getting any information. It's nothing interesting. The clickbait is interesting. That's all you get. You might get some of his attitude that people might like. Maybe they don't. You know, his passive-aggressive things that he thinks that are cute that he says, flamboyant and eccentric and blah, blah, blah with the fan. And he doesn't edit anything, so he can put 4, 5, 6 videos up in a day on a daily basis. And I've watched his other channels, and really I'm not hearing anything different or seeing anything different that would excite me to watch that many channels. I think you need to get one good channel, perhaps 2 good channels. Like what I do, I'm not saying it's right for everybody, but I have one vlogging channel, and then I have one channel that I save for drama things. I've had personal feelings about other people, but I always kept that stuff to myself or kept between me and my girlfriends, you know, the gossip kind of things. And so this is a really different thing for me to do. Why I chose to do it is because I need to start getting my own life. And this YouTube channel will hopefully get me to the point where I can start concentrating on myself. Because if I am not going to do it now, I can't imagine when I'm going to do it. If this doesn't work out, then it doesn't work out. But so far, I'm finding it very interesting, and I'm going to do it as long as I find it interesting. If it ever provides income, I think that would be great. I'm going to tell you more about my life and the things that I've been through that I think at least some of you will find interesting. The terrible accident that I went through 11 years ago, my nonprofit animal rescue that I started, I think it was 5 years ago, and I still have today, the ranch that I had just prior to moving back into the city last year, the struggles that I've gone through physically, emotionally, and financially due to my accident, the struggles with my exes, and things all leading up to today. It's not for one video. It's just over a period of time. We'll get to know each other, and I'm still feeling this out. You guys don't know me yet, but that's how I want this to be, is to you to know me and for me to get to know you. And there will be some drama things in here. It's not me talking smack so much about other people unless I get really riled up. But I'm not going to just talk about somebody just to talk about them, because I dislike where they stand in life, what they're saying, whatever. What I don't like and what I will report on is people who are cheating other people out of money, time, whatever. I don't like bullies, and I will stand up against bullies. I don't like animal abuse. I will stand up against that. I don't like child abuse, and I'll tell you something. If I was around when that Daddy 05 crap was going on, there's no way I would have sat in my seat and just talked about it online. Not to say anybody else is wrong for doing that, but I will go to extreme lengths to protect kids, animals, my family, my friends. So it's now 3:30, and I know that I'm going to have to already edit this video, so I'll try to do that today, maybe, and I will vlog probably a little bit later.